I look like an old lady. Share your screen with your audience.
All right.
Here
Well,
we
I think
are.
we're here. Hey, we're back. We're live.
Holy smoke, that was a whole lot of something.
Well, I'm excited. We're going live again.
You could be excited for both of us. Sorry, kid. It's been a long day. It's been a long
All
day.
good. It's honestly been a really busy couple of weeks, I guess.
It's been
Yeah.
really busy, but we're thankful to be live. Welcome, everybody. We're here to do a very quick Q&A.
Yeah.
We actually are getting a lot of questions and sent to us, so we thought we would take a minute for everybody just to kind of get to know us a little bit better. Hopefully
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
guys can hear us okay.
Yep.
The chat is up and running, it
Yep.
looks like.
Chat's going.
We're by no means
Yeah.
we're by no means pros, that's for
Oh,
sure.
by all
at
means,
this.
we're still learning our way through this. But you know what? We've done a couple lives now, and both of them were honestly
Yeah.
kind of a hit. So we figured we'd
so good.
keep doing this. Just
And-
give this a chance to answer some questions people have.
Exactly. And we do have, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear him, but we do have trusted Dan.
Good old producer
our
Dan.
director, producer Dan, and our moderator is behind the scenes. So when you guys kind of get in the chat room, he'll be corresponding with you. And also, you have the ability to ask questions live.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I guess first off, if we're starting this, for any new viewers that are coming in, first off, hey, glad to have you. And second, why don't we just sort of explain briefly a bit about who we are?
Sure. Yeah. So we're a mom and son that have decided. Please subscribe to the channel. You can definitely check out some of our previous episodes as to why we decided to bring to the world our very quirky, fun, dynamic.
Yeah,
I guess
absolutely.
is the best way to say it. We're just kind of here to help put a smile on everybody's faces.
Yeah, we've been doing this for
since March.
Like about half a year, yeah. Roughly.
Since March.
Yep.
And wow, this has been incredible.
It has.
We're almost at 5,000 subscribers.
We are.
Oh my gosh. I feel like when we hit the 5K, I don't know. I'm thinking a little party might be happening. We'll see.
We'll figure out some
Never
way
in
to
a million years
celebrate it. Yeah.
did we ever think that
when we were just
people could.
Yeah. When we were just starting, I mean, you had a few hundred subscribers, which was just from doing real estate
my real
stuff.
estate channel. Yeah.
And
tours.
The growth has been way bigger than we could have possibly imagined in such a short span of time.
Right. Exactly. So the channel is definitely something to help kind of bring a smile on everybody's face, but also just show the good, the bad, and ugly of our dynamic.
Absolutely.
I mean, I love my children more than words could possibly say. But, you know, we're no different than any other family out there. We argue, we disagree. Austin works on my real estate team. So there's a lot of different dynamics that kind of come forward.
There are.
There is a lot.
Like it all boils down to really the motto of the podcast, which, as you eloquently put it, at the end of every episode, we're laughing through life with a mom and her son.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. It's all about life. It's about finding enjoyment in it. It's about talking about things that happen. You know, sometimes it can be serious. We've delved into a few serious topics, but more importantly, it's always about finding the bright side, even in the dark times.
Yeah. And I think that at the end of the day, I always look at everything, even in my real estate career, I always look at everything from a perspective of you guys. As I watch my favorite creators on YouTube, I know exactly what engages me. I know exactly the things that resonate with me.
Yeah.
So we're always open for everybody's suggestions, and we have a podcast email where people can actually communicate with us a little bit more.
We have.
Of course, the community chat as well. So check the description as well. The email is now on there, and you know, we'd like to do another Q&A, an episode itself. So please feel free to send any of your questions to us. But I'm going to throw it out there. Director, producer Dan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
I'm not complaining. Life is good.
Life is good.
And,
Life is good.
I'm excited that we got about 15 or so questions that people submitted.
Okay.
Ooh.
And, excited to kind of
Yep.
see what your guys' opinions are on these things.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And
All
don't
right.
forget when you do come into the chat, please let us know who you are. Please tell us where you're from. We have been talking to people all over the world, and
Yeah.
it is really super cool. Okay. Oh my gosh. I think I might be a little bit afraid for these
No,
questions,
actually-
but you asked, we're going to answer. Okay.
We got respectable questions. We
Okay.
our last live we had some left field curveballs.
Interesting
that were-
questions, yeah.
Right.
Some ones that were, but these are all pretty cool and pretty much about the YouTube channel and about the content and stuff. So
All
Okay.
right,
yeah,
let's hear it.
pretty cool. So first question is, and I know the answer to this, and if you're a viewer, you should already know the answer to this. But what inspired you guys to start your channel?
Well, the whole thing really was your idea at the end of the day. I suppose it starts around Christmas-ish of 2023 last year, where I was kind of going through a rough time mentally.
Mhm.
Got depression. We talk about it in one of the podcast episodes. Check it out. It's a good episode. But
Season one. Season one.
yeah.
episode, Yeah.
yeah, so I was going through a tough time, and that's when you started really looking into, I suppose, ideas of ways that maybe I could express myself better.
Yep.
And and we had this studio, which we were using to take all of our real estate ads, real estate pictures, and they have a podcast booth in it. So you called me up one day and you're like, so I've had this idea. What if we
Mhm.
did a podcast? And I was like,
Mhm.
really?
Yep. I think for any parent, and we do encourage everybody to watch Austin really tell his mental health journey story. I think any parent is willing to kind of do anything to try to feed whatever passion their children have. And a lot of people, my experience, everybody, and I'm sure you can agree, my experience is a lot of people do work that they don't really love. They do it because it's a job and it pays bills or their passion.
Yeah.
What Austin didn't share with all of you is he started voiceover acting, I don't know, it might have been close to 10 years ago.
Close.
And he has had some jobs and he loves it. So because for our real estate business, we were already working with a production company to produce our monthly stuff. When they built a podcast room, it just seemed natural for me to say, what if we did this to help feed your passion of the arts? And
Right.
of course, the real estate phone is ringing right now, don't you know? No, I'm not going to answer it. That's okay. I'm pretty sure they can wait. So that's why we got started.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And man, going back to that first episode, I mean, I think we were both just like, oh, what if this crashes and burns? Like we were definitely worried.
Yeah.
And we had
Yeah.
Producer Dan and back then producer Hollywood, who were both like, oh, don't worry. If it's bad, we'll let you know right away. That way, that way we had that trust immediately of, if we're good, they'll tell us. If not, we tried. And immediately when we started going, it just felt natural, you know? Like it just felt
It did.
really,
It did.
I don't want to say easy, because a lot of work goes into this, but it felt like once it started, it just felt right almost.
I think the important thing for anybody that wants to become a creator, whether it's, a blog or a podcast or whatever it is you're doing, it starts with an idea. And that's what we did when we kind of said, okay, would this help you? Would this feed that inner passion and give you another positive outlook of life? It starts with an idea. And that's where we went to the production company who was already producing other podcasts for
Yep.
other platforms and said, what do you think? And when we walked in the door, immediately I start harping on him about his sweater that he's wearing. And I'm like, oh my God, you couldn't friggin' cut your hair like before we came here? And they automatically said, wait, don't say anymore.
that happens a
Hold
lot.
it for the podcast.
Yeah,
So,
that happens a lot. We start going into our back and forths immediately once we're sitting down, and they're like,
Yeah.
guys, You gotta stop.
Keep it real. So hopefully that answered your question. Who is it that asked that question?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I honestly just grabbed all the
I
questions.
think it was Susan. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So next question
Okay.
is, how do you come up with content ideas?
Well,
metamorphosized? Morphed.
good.
It morphed. Let's just say
Yeah.
that. We first were going to talk about our life. We started talking a tiny bit about real estate, but we didn't want to make it a real estate channel.
we decided that pretty early that we didn't
And
want it to be that.
I think it
but-
became really clear very quickly as we were talking about Austin's mental health journey, and then we talked about my being a cancer survivor in an episode. It became very clear, I think, to our production company that we also were kind of competitive. And then all of a sudden we started coming up with ideas of doing different games. For instance, that old TV show, Name That Tune. We did Name the Song.
In the songs.
And so now it kind of is a little bit of everything.
I think it was in the first season. I think the first game that we did was one where we had to guess just things about each other, like our favorite colors, our favorite trips, our worst fears, things like that. And just that casual back and forth that we kind of turned into a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like you said, immediately they were like, oh, we got to do more
Let's
of
run
this.
with this. I mean, who isn't more competitive than parents with their kids sometimes, right?
Especially our
Especially
family.
when they get to be a little bit older and you don't let your kids win anymore. You want to win.
Everyone in our family is
Yeah.
really competitive in general. So that just sort of fed into it. In terms of ideas, honestly, it just sort of comes from all of us. Like we chat every week. We've got a group chat where we're just like, hey, why don't we do this one day? What if we did this one day? So it's sort of just a collaboration.
Sorry to interrupt. It also comes from old game shows as well. We've
Also
done
true.
Family Feud. I'm thinking Wheel of Fortune might be next. So we do a lot of different stuff, but it's our version of it.
Yeah.
And I think was that Michael that asked that question. Thank you, Michael, for that.
All right.
If I'm not, I remember seeing them as they kind of came through. So thank you.
Okay.
Also, on that note, on the content ideas, you guys came in and wanted to do some video game stuff right away off the bat. So there was some game stuff already kind of there. I remember you guys played Donkey Kong, I think it was.
Yeah,
Right.
we did.
Right away. So I think we kicked off with some hilarious competitiveness between you guys. And we kind of like...
That brought out your competitive side
That's what I
right
was
away.
saying. Yes, exactly.
Okay, I mean,
Second season,
yeah,
we did the What's in the Box.
yes.
And
What's
that
in the
one
box?
took off.
It did.
That
It
was like our
did.
most viewed out of everything that we
It
had
did.
At the
done.
time, yeah.
Yeah.
Most watched time.
Yeah.
And from there, we've been.
That's true.
The games have been crazy though, from last season to like now where we're at now. They've been getting better and better.
I think too, when we did the video games, we weren't sure it was going to work. We were like, I mean, we're not super high tech, so it kind of took a while to figure out, okay, how are we going to do this? And people really responded to, a son trying to beat his mom or vice versa on Donkey Kong. Which is something that actually let's address. We have had people ask us, when are you going to do that again? We 100% will. It takes a lot of pre-planning to bring it to you. And then it takes a lot of me mentally being prepared to lose. Because we all know.
My mom does not play
I'm
many video
definitely
games.
going to be losing for sure. All right, next question.
All right, yeah.
What's your favorite video that you guys have made and why? So maybe each of you could answer. Like Austin could give his favorite.
Okay.
You give your favorite.
Yep.
Oh, that's tough.
I'll give my favorite.
Yeah, what's
let's hear it.
Dan's?
My
Let's hear.
favorite was What's the Smell?
What's our
The one
last
we
one?
just did?
Most
Oh
recent
my
one we just
gosh.
did.
That was
I thought was the
good.
funniest, like
Dude.
by far.
Dude,
Hilarious.
when I got home, that friggin' egg. And now that we've watched the video back, because we film it and then we watch it when it goes live. I regret so much that I didn't take that egg and show everybody exactly what it looked like, because as much as it was a hard-boiled egg, according to the statement on the episode, my son Austin does not know how to hard boil an egg, because this egg was runny inside and it had started to spoil. So needless to say, when I got home, like on the way home, I'm like, we need to buy some ginger ale.
I brought home some ginger ale that day.
Because
yes,
Mama feels very sick.
yesterday, actually, when I think Andrew and Nicole got the chance to watch the episode, Andrew being my brother and Nicole his wife, Nicole messaged in our family group chat, Tara, I'm so sorry for that idea, because that was one of the two ideas I took from her.
I'm like, it ain't your fault. My son didn't cook it right.
The egg and the boiled hot dog.
It was undercooked. All right.
All right, so
yours is
Mine's
smell. What's your favorite?
Oh, I guess I would say it's probably a tie. Cheap answer, I know, but a tie between the one where we talk about my mental health, because I think in terms of serious, it's weird because it's like it's something I don't like to talk about and I don't like to reflect
Yeah,
on.
that's
I
true.
talk about that in the episode. Check it out, good episode. But it's also, I think, just generally some of the best discussion we've had, and I think that's because it's like a personal topic for both of us,
Yeah.
and there's a lot that we both can say about it, and it just sort of created a really natural episode. And that was also the first episode we did where we were sort of pushing how long we could do the episodes, and we were kind of worried about that at first. But that ended up in the first season being one of our most viewed. So that gave us the confidence of, okay, we can talk longer and talk about serious things, and that's okay. So that, and frankly, What's in the Box School Edition.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
that's the other one. Honestly, just the giant calculator cracks me up whenever I see it.
Yeah, the giant calculator. I do love, I'm always going, I love our game show ones. For me, they're not my favorite. I think they're a favorite for the audience because everybody wants to have a lot of laughs and a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I love bringing them to everybody.
Right.
But when I sit back and look at the real life of our family and what we've gone through, telling the mental health journey one, I really feel is so important today. And I know right after that aired, a lot of the messages that we got from people we, of course, don't know how it actually helped them. I think knowing my son and knowing that this isn't a topic that we meet you for the first time and go, oh, by the way, do you want to hear his journey and how close he was this one night of ending it all. It's to me, it is a very important, and not only from Austin's perspective, but we added what the parent, myself, what I went through and the help that I had to get in order to help my son stay alive. That one, I really also lean very heavily towards my stage 4 cancer one. That one took an incredible toll on me physically and mentally to be able to bring to the public. And I really like that one because I think for any people that have family that's going through it, for anybody that knows somebody going through it, I think those are the ones that are really going to resonate a lot with others. So I don't know, maybe I lean towards a little bit of when somebody gets kind of emotional. I just think there's a lot to be said.
Yeah.
Any episode that we have, just so that everybody knows, any episode that we have that talks about those inner things that a lot of families go through that, might not be all full of unicorns and rainbows, we always end those episodes on a very positive note. We bring always light into whatever darkness we may be sharing with you.
Yeah.
Our goal is always to be open and honest with our subscribers. We're not going to be bringing you any BS here. we're keeping it real, and that's what we committed to. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully that answered. That was your own
Yeah.
personal question. I know,
Yeah.
Dan? Yeah.
And you guys both got to give 2 answers, so I'm giving one more then.
Okay.
So I did what's the smell, but my second one, on a serious note, I won't pick another game one because that's like almost cheating. But the one when you gave your story about your dad.
Oh,
Because I
my
didn't
That was
know
good.
that story.
Right.
And like I've known you for years now.
Right.
Yeah.
And, like I think you alluded to it in the past that like, you know, he'd passed away and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I didn't know the story.
Yeah.
So for you to give like those details,
That
and,
was
like,
hard.
even hearing about the 911 emergency like phone number, like
Yeah.
there's so many like.
I appreciate
Yeah.
you saying that.
Yeah,
That was not an easy one to film
Of course
either,
not,
to
just
be
talking
honest.
about that one.
Yeah.
It like makes the hairs on my arm stand up. Like it's such like a deep story.
Yep.
Yeah.
I really appreciated like you being like vulnerable and like talking about it. I thought that was
Oh, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. We're all, a little something, something. I mean, you get a little bit of everything here.
It is, yeah.
Maybe one time we'll show everybody how to cook. Oh, my meatloaf. We
You do
have
gotta do
to
that.
show that as an episode, because if I get one more question about give me your meatloaf recipe.
That'll be when we do guess that
Next.
taste. You can feed me whatever nightmare you want.
Wow.
But if there's meatloaf in there
Ooh.
somewhere, then I'd probably forgive you.
I almost suggested a game
Guess that
yesterday
taste.
because I was looking up like other games you could play and stuff like that. I was like trying to like research some stuff. Like I just want something cool, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
It was blindfolded cook-off where you guys are both blindfolded and you pick your ingredients blindfolded.
Right.
And then I think you can take the blindfold off
And
then
cook with them?
but you don't get to pick hand pick your best items. So you
Right.
might
You
get
don't know what
pickles
you're
and then-
cooking.
and horseradish and
Oh.
then like bread and then like I don't know. Like,
Okay.
Right, but we'll talk about that another time.
Oh, I kind of like that.
Oh,
I
that
kind
is
of
a
like that.
scary idea.
Okay. Well,
Cool idea.
listen, I mean, we don't want to keep anybody too long. We'll answer what? 2 more questions,
Sure, two
maybe?
more questions.
Sure.
Okay.
What do we got?
Okay, so we've got a few to choose from. So let me find a good one.
I'll say this. We talked about our favorite episodes. My favorite moments, I think, actually came from the most recent episode, Guess the Smell, which was us playing rock, paper, scissors.
Okay. I mean, if we're going to be keeping it real, I am going to keep it real that I don't think I'm ever going to get that right. I'm 57 years old. If I haven't figured out when to friggin' do it. So let's just do like maybe pull straws or something next time. Because I mean, I gotta be honest. If I can't believe I messed that up twice. I can't believe it. And honestly, we said this during the episode. I'm watching the people over here because we got Dan and we
had Sam for that episode, and they were
and they're dying.
busting
and I'm like,
a gut.
Anyhow, all right. Answering your
All right,
questions.
back.
What are your goals for the future of your channel?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I know. What are your goals? I would love to hear from you.
Well, honestly, for the first year, I was thinking the big goal was get to 1,000. Like that was sort of like okay, keep it small, keep it realistic. We're just starting out. But then all of a sudden we got there, and then we kept going higher and higher, faster and faster.
But what are your goals?
So I think the goal is, how do I put this? I love this podcast. I want to keep it going. I want it to become another way we can sort of fulfill ourselves both as people and maybe see if we can sort of turn this into something that we can at least
business?
partially live off of. Yeah.
I think for me, I think our goal when we first started was 500 subs, 1,000 subs. For me, the goal is always going to be to get this to a platform. I don't want anybody to think that we're just doing this for money, because we're not making any money. I can tell you that right now. If we do one day, that would make me happy. But this really is about creating a platform that my son can continue to be proud of and continue to nurture and to fill that passion in his life
Mhm.
that will always make him feel like life is so worth living.
Mhm.
And if that does financially turn into something, I mean, then what more can a mom ask?
Right.
The bottom line is we're working ourselves from the basement up. If we ever reach
Literally.
the penthouse, we're bringing y'all with us because we owe it all to you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's me is I never forget what my why is. I wake up in the morning because of my children, even though they're grown men. I do everything I do to make sure that everybody in the family is okay. And at the end of the day, if we've made everybody laugh,
Mhm.
then you know what? I'm going to pass on as a very happy mama, woman, and content creator.
Yeah.
I'll add that. I'll add
Well,
that.
add it to the list
add
of
it.
all the many things you've done.
But are we doing one more? Or are
One
we
last
ready?
one.
Okay.
Okay.
And on that last question, I'll say me personally, beyond monetization, because obviously that's like a big goal for us in general, any YouTube channel.
Sure. Yeah.
But 100,000 subs with that plaque.
Ooh, getting a plaque
Like,
would be good.
And it's funny because like first season coming into it, I wasn't like, let's get to 100K. Like I was like,
Yeah.
okay, how can we
Keep the
strategically build and
expectations
grow
real.
and-
Yeah.
Yeah, keep them a little bit humble.
Yeah.
Right.
But now
Yeah.
seeing the growth, like after we hit 1,000, we couldn't even celebrate 1,000 before we hit 3,000.
I know.
Yeah.
We
I know.
like
You had to skip a lot of celebrations
Yeah.
because
Pretty
they
cool.
happen too
so
fast.
now
It's pretty cool.
100,000 to me is very realistic. I think we could get there. My goal is to help you guys get to that point within the next 6 months. And
I think we can do it.
I know when we get to 100,000 subscribers, we will be monetized, and it will be making money,
Yeah.
and it'll hopefully make everything just like that much more
It'll all work out.
synchronized. You know
It'll
what I
all
mean?
work out.
So
Let
okay,
us
last
know.
question.
Let
Yeah.
us know as well, everybody, because we're going to be signing off really quickly. Let us know, do you want more content? Typically, we only just started doing lives just so that we could chat with everybody.
Yeah.
But typically we drop an episode on Monday evenings, Eastern Standard Time.
Yep.
Do you want more content from us? We do a lot of reels and stuff like that, a lot of shorts. Let us know. And find out the email that you guys can actually email directly. And this is what I do every day. I'm a realtor. I will answer like this. All right, last question.
Last question.
What do you think sets your channel apart from others?
I think it's the dynamic.
I don't know that we are set apart from others. I guess we are. I don't know. I will know, I guess, if we ever do reach a lot of subscribers. But our dynamic, here's what I can tell. We're just real. We're open and honest.
Yeah.
We're not here to BS anybody.
No.
There's times we film episodes or podcasts that I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, is that going to be okay for everybody?
Right.
Are they going to like it? But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's because we're real.
Oh yeah, we've been very honest with ourselves and with our audience since the moment we started this. Like even back in those early season 1 episodes, a lot of it was just sort of like, this is about showing the people watching who we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And a lot of that means sort of talking about, the silly stories, the things we have fun with, which I always love talking about.
Yeah.
And also talking about some of the not so fun things like my depression, like your cancer, about what happened with your dad. So those are things where it's all about being real and all about still finding brightness in those dark spots.
Yep.
I think that's sort of what sets us apart alongside our dynamic, is just us being honest with each other, having fun with each other, and being honest with and having fun with the people who watch.
Yep, I agree. Look at these guys, buddy. Look at the camera.
Ooh, calling me out live.
I think what sets you guys apart, me personally, is the mother-son dynamic duo, and then like just the competitiveness between you two, and like coming up with those. I mean, the raw, real ones with the mix of the game shows.
Yeah.
The game shows really ties it in like I think it
Sure.
becomes more relatable to everybody. Everybody like it's more entertaining for people and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And those real ones really bring them in. Like
Yes.
So.
And we'll continue to present that to you.
Yeah.
We did get somebody ask us, we want to see, how did they word it? We want to see a day in the life of you as realtors. So
yeah.
we will probably end up, as long as director, producer, filmmaker Dan can film us, we might plan out a day in our life.
Yeah,
and again, it'll be just as quirky. It'll be just as interesting, and pretty off the cuff. I mean, we actually laugh a lot. But I'm gonna leave this here, I think, because we've actually got to still film another episode for you guys. We want to thank everybody for coming. Please don't forget, if you're not able to be here with us live, you can catch it later. You can go on the live tab. Of course, you all know that.
Yep.
A lot of our watch hours, a lot haven't subscribed yet. So if that's you, please do us a favor. If you would be so kind, we would be so grateful. If you could just take a quick second and just press that subscribe button. I also want to make sure to remind you that you can click the notifications. That way, when we go live, when we drop an episode, you're going to know and you won't miss it. We really owe the success so far that we've had to you. We thank you for tuning in. We're just laughing through life with just a mom and her son. I love you, kid.
Oh, I love you too. Once again, thanks so much to everyone who's watched. Just as an extra reminder, we mentioned this, but we've also got our podcast email in the channel now. So you can click there, subscribe while you're there. But also you can send us questions or comments or anything. And who knows, maybe something you say could appear on a future episode. Just throwing that out there. So thanks for tuning in. Remember, life's crazy. We can't change that, but we can talk about it. Oh, I like the synchronized points. Yeah.
And we do.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody.
Bye.